These things that archives like the Wolfson archives do is preserving that video history that began in the late 70s, early 80s, and continued until basically the zeros when we started shooting directly to hard drive. That's a period of time that's threatened, and we better do a lot more to preserve that history before it disappears off videotape.
Police are actively searching for him, but police say Versace was targeted.
Officer Roy Brown, one of 2 black officers relieved of duty, faces possible assault charges in connection with the police brutality charge.
But also the right to choose an abortion and supposedly more controversial issues and the Equal Rights Amendment.
Tear down junk! Tear down junk!
Directly across the street, former hotel employees and some private citizens were busy voicing the other side of the story.
The Wolfson Archives contains a collection of historical film and video about Florida. The materials include news material, home movies, travelogues, television programs, anything that was made in or about Florida and this region. Here at the Wolfson Archives, we build our collection based on donations, especially of home movies.
Right now, archivists around the world have engaged in a major archaeological dig to recover and find this material because, in fact, it's our democratic history. You can see the old cameras like this, the movie projectors like this, the old reels of movie film, the incredible amount of how-to books that were published informing amateurs how to make their movies look more like Hollywood films.
It's kind of cool to have like the history of your own family, right, preserved in a way that can be shown and can be accessed, be it by media outlets or historians or anyone else who's interested in the future and of the state of Florida. I was born in Cuba, and my parents and I came in the early 60s to Miami. So I've been here since I was a little girl. And when I was decluttering my house, I found a lot of film that was really shot by my father, who is now 92. And there was film from Cuba and from the early days in the early 1960s when my family came from Cuba to Miami. So there's all sorts of footage that I thought would be wonderful to share so it could be preserved. And I just love the idea that some of our history and our personal footage will be archived at the Wolfson. Besides donating some of the personal family footage, I'm also donating some footage of my years at WTVJ.
But the big loser in the economics of recycling is paper, particularly newspaper. The bottoms dropped out of the market.
I created one of the very first media environmental campaigns in the country. We were just starting to recycle, and I really wanted to do something at the station that was about preserving our precious environment. So I created a campaign called A Matter of Pride.
Recycle your newspapers, aluminum, glass, and motor oil.
It's a matter of life. It's a matter of pride.
Documentary filmmakers will turn to us for footage for specific stories, especially if there's a Florida connection. And a lot of times there is a Florida connection.
Not only do we have a news archive that has every single day of the news, of the local news going back 50, 60 years now, but we live in a town that is so bizarre, that is so strange in terms of storytelling, that it's like the Wolfson Archives is like a playground for storytellers and documentary filmmakers. Archival footage, news footage, we would not only use for the news purpose itself, but we would also use it for B-roll to tell the story. So when a subject says, I was driving down with a tow truck and I put the car on the back, we would find a B-roll of a tow truck in the news story and repurpose that to use as kind of B-roll in our storytelling. Video doesn't last. We are in danger of losing a tremendous amount of our contemporary history because videotapes disintegrate much faster than film does. And so one of the amazing things that the Wolfson Archives have done is focus on preserving our contemporary history.
Just like film, videotape is susceptible to environmental conditions. With videotape, the The biggest danger is not being able to play the tapes because we don't have the equipment. With film, it's very like a mechanical process, so you can clean the film and you can prep the film and you can still run it through projectors. You know, for the most part, as long as we can maintain our equipment, we should be pretty good to go for many, many years in digitizing our tape collections. It's important to preserve our past, because from our past is how we learn how to deal with our future.
It's so important to preserve your history, know your history, and with the archives, we can actually see it. And I think that's wonderful.